بس ما وورld وما فسكدوس أحد واملك آمين بس ما وورld وما فسكدوس أحد واملك آمين بس ما وورld وما فسكدوس أحد واملك آمين. Yes, good morning. Hope everyone's good. Had a good Sabbath, a good Saturday, and God willing, today, holy day, Sunday, if you see it in that way, then I hope you have a blessed day also. So, on with the reading, Genesis 43. And the famine is severe in the land, and it comes to pass, when they have finished eating the grain which they brought from Egypt, that their father says to them, Return, buy us a little food. And Judah speaks to him, saying, The man protested to us, saying, You do not see my face without your brother being with you. And if you are sending our brother with us, we go down and buy for you food. And if you are not sending, we do not go down. For the man said to us, You do not see my face without your brother being with you. And Israel said, Why did you do evil to me by declaring to the man that you have yet a brother? And they say, The man asked diligently concerning us, and concerning our family, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have you a brother? And we could declare to him according to the tenor of these things. And we certainly know that he will say, Bring down your brother. And Judah says to his father Israel, Send the youth with me, and we arise and go and live, and do not die, both we and you and our infants. I am guarantor for him. From my hand you acquire him. If you have not brought him to you and set him before you, then I sinned against you all the days. And if we have not lingered, surely now we had returned these 2 times. And their father Israel says to them, If so, now do this. Take of the praise thing of the land in your vessels, and take down to the man a present, a little balm, and a little honey, spices, and myrrh, and almonds. And double the money take in your hand, even the money which is brought back in the mouth in your bags. You take back in your hand. It may be an oversight. And take your brother and rise, return to the man. And God Almighty give to you mercies before the man, so that he has sent to you our other brother and Benjamin. And when I am bereaved, I am bereaved. And the men take this present, double money also they have taken in their hand, and Benjamin. And they rise and go down to Egypt, and stand before Joseph. And Joseph sees Benjamin with them, and says to him, who is over his house, Bring the men into the house, and slaughter an animal, and make ready, for the men eat with me at noon. And the men does as Joseph has said. And the man brings in the men into the house of Joseph. And the men are afraid, because they have been brought into the house of Joseph. And they say, For the matter of the money which was put back into our bags at the consentment, are we brought in to roll himself on us, and to throw himself on us, and to take us for servants, our donkeys also? And they come near to the man who is over the house of Joseph, and speak to him at the opening of the house, and say, O my lord, we really come down at the commencement to buy food, and it comes to pass, when we have come to the lodging place, and open our bags, and behold, each one's money is in the mouth of his bag. Our money is in its weight, and we bring it back in our hand. And other money we have brought down in our hand to buy food, and have not known who put our money in our bags. And he says, Peace to you, do not fear. Your God and the God of your father has given you hidden treasure in your bags. Your money come to me. And he brings out Simeon to them. And the man brings in the men into Joseph's house, and gives water, and they wash their feet, and he gives provender to the donkeys. And they prepare to present until the coming of Joseph at noon. And they have heard that they are there, and they eat bread. And Joseph comes into the house, and they bring to him the present which is in their hand into the house, and bow down themselves to the earth. And he asks of them of peace, and says, Is your father well? The aged man of whom you have spoken, is he yet alive? And they say, Your servant, our father, is well, he is yet alive. And they bow and pay respect. And he lifts up his eyes and sees his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and says, Is this your young brother of whom you have spoken to me? And he says, God favour you, my son. And Joseph hurries, for his bowels have been moved for his brother. And he seeks to weep, and enters the inner chamber and weeps there. And he washes his face and goes out and refrains himself and says, Place bread. And they place for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians who are eating with them by themselves. And for the Egyptians are unable to eat bread with the Hebrews, for it is an abomination to the Egyptians. And they sit before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the young one according to his youth. And the men wonder at another. And he lifts up gifts from before him to them. And the gift of Benjamin is 5 hands more than the gifts of all of them. And they drink, indeed they drink abundantly with him. For these few words to give thanks, blessed love. So here we see a reconciliation of sorts between Joseph and his brothers, but they still don't know that that's Joseph that is the leader of the land, or, powerful man in the land, and they're the ones in charge, and that Joseph is the one in charge of distributing the grain. Again, Joseph's playing it very softly, very cautiously. When the people of Egypt and Jacob, I'll call him Israel now because that's his name now, Israel, when Israel sees that they've eaten the grain that the brothers have got from the last time, he sends his sons back out to Egypt to get more grain. But they say to him, but remember, the leader said you have to bring your younger brother with you this time if you want more grain, and that otherwise I'm not going to believe you. So they plead this to Israel, and Israel's reluctant because Benjamin's his youngest son, but also remember Benjamin is his son from Rachel, and the only 2 sons from Rachel are Joseph and Benjamin. So Benjamin is Joseph's only full brother, and this is why he wants to see him. So this is why later in the chapter that when he sees Benjamin, he's hugging him, he's weeping. It says he has to go into another room and weep because he's so emotional. And when they sit down to dinner, Joseph gives Benjamin 5 times more than the other brothers, and he sits them in order. I don't know if you picked up on that. He sits them in order of age, and he said the brothers did look at each other like, how did he know that we were in this order? But he spoils Benjamin, and he shows favoritism to Benjamin, and none of the others seem to blink an eyelid. And the reason why is twofold, really, I think. One is that Benjamin is his full brother, so he's showing affection to him. But the other thing is to test the other brothers. Because if you remember, Joseph was thrown in a pit because the brothers were jealous of him, because Joseph was the favorite son of Israel, of Jacob, the father. So it was jealousy that put Jacob in this predicament in the first place. So what Joseph's doing here, by showing so much affection and giving Benjamin 5 times more than the others, is actually testing the brothers. Has anything changed? Are they treating Benjamin any differently? He's got a different mother to the rest of them. So are they treating him any differently? Is that jealousy still there? And based on the evidence of this chapter, it seems things have changed, and they're not treating the brother Benjamin any differently. They were cautious to bring him. They weren't kind of throwing him under the bus, as it were. and throwing him to Joseph. Look, here's our brother, give us our food, and it was Judah who stands up for Benjamin and says, Dad, if you allow me to take Benjamin, then I'm your guarantor. And, if anything happens bad to him, then you can do bad to me, So they're very protective of their younger brother and swearing to the father that nothing ill is going to come of him. So it's Joseph way again, as I said yesterday. He's testing the waters. He's examining their behavior and seeing whether he's prepared to do a full reconciliation by admitting and declaring who he is, that he's also their brother. So very interesting tactics, very slow process that he's working through, but he's able to observe. But you can see that Joseph himself is very emotional as well. And it's taken a toll on him in terms of him having to go into that side room and cry. So yeah, I think it's quite a beautiful chapter, actually. I think it's a very gentle chapter. And it shows family loyalty. There's still tension, but it does show family loyalty. It shows family loyalty, Joseph to his brothers. He's entertaining them, he's bringing them in, he's given them the benefit of the doubt, and he's given them a second chance. In a way, he's given them a chance to prove that they have changed. And it's also family loyalty between the father and the sons, and also the brothers to the other brother. And also remember, we can't forget Simeon was imprisoned, and he's been given back to the brothers as well, because the brothers worried. If you remember in here, it says, we had our money given back to us. Is Joseph bringing him into his space to basically do us harm? But then Joseph's servant said, no, it's God that gave that money back to you, and everything's blessed. Here's your brother Simeon, and just come for a peaceful meal with our leader, who obviously we know is Joseph. So I think it's a very beautiful chapter, very gentle, and an example for many of us in terms of humbleness, reconciliation, being able to give others a second chance. Again, not being hot-headed, and just allowing for forgiveness to rise and reconcile another day. So we still haven't seen full reconciliation, but it seems to be paving the way to go in that direction. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this narrative plays out. So I'll end there. Blessed love, yet a breath for cure. Have a good day.